Morning, guys. I posted just a couple of pictures a little bit ago. Got a whole bunch of questions, started some stuff, so I guess I'll do a video on it. Customer brought this rig in yesterday. There's a GFI outlet right here. He said it wasn't working. He'd already taken it down and tried to figure something out and gave up pretty quick. It's on this is a slide. I don't know if you can get perspective on it, but the GFI wasn't working. There's a TV plugged in. There's a receptacle inside that wasn't working. It gave us a pretty good quick indication that there's no power going to the slide. So I wanted to talk about how to diagnose some of this stuff with a fancy little multimeter that I've had for years. This is dealing with 120 volt electrical stuff, AC. If you don't know how to work on this stuff, stay away from it. Call a pro. It'll hurt you, it'll kill you, it'll do all kinds of stuff. If you know what you're doing, you may already know this, but for somebody that's got enough, got a multimeter and has enough skill, maybe you don't know this. So when it came in, first thing I did was check to see if there's power. On a GFI, you've got power coming in and then you've got a load going back out. There was just a little bit of power, and this is where we kind of get into the video stuff. So on 120 volt circuits or even 12 volt circuits, if you're trying to test the circuit, let's say it's a 12 volt circuit and you're getting 2 volts, 3 volts, there's probably a broken wire or a bad connection. On 120 volt circuits, if you're getting 10, 15, 20 volts, there's some kind of bad connection. It's not making. So the first, I can't show you because I've already gotten past the problem, but the first thing that, if all you have is a multimeter, you don't have a tone generator, you can't plug it in and test where it's at. You can figure out what's going on with a multimeter. The first thing you need to do, take your positive lead, test it onto the positive side of the circuits that you're looking at. That's the black wire. The back of this, back here is power coming in, and then it goes through the receptacle, and then that's power going to the rest of wherever it wants to go in the camper. So when I plugged this in, I tested the circuit right here, and I was getting like 20, 21, 22 volts. As soon as I go over to either ground or the neutral wire, it dropped all the voltage out. What that's doing is it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's not allowing a circuit to be completed, but because there's a little bit of, the guy that trained me called it mystery voltage, there's a little bit of mystery voltage on the line. That tells you probably have, you're about 99%. You've got some sort of not great connection, and it could be all kinds of stuff, but it's a not great connection. The way these things are built, they're all pretty much the same. The first thing I did was, okay, I've got some voltage on there. Let's go figure out which breaker it is. You know, I tripped the brake or flipped the breaker off, boom, found out where that breaker is. So now go back into the camper, flip the breaker on, see what circuits are working, flip the breaker off, see what circuits don't work. Then you kind of start to trace where they wired this thing, and there's no logical rhyme or reason. They go up and in and around and twist, and it's process of elimination. There's not that many breakers, just test them. So once I found this is the kind of the end of the circuit, or at least where there's an issue, I ended up at the back of the trailer, and this is what I found. We'll get out of the light here a little bit. I've already posted pictures of it, but you're not going to see this on video because the shadows aren't right, but there's actually some arcing that has been going on because this is the hot side. It actually was just barely in there. It was barely touching enough. There's corrosion. There's a little bit of rust in there, and that's what's going on. As soon as I wiggled this, presto, I had power. But what we're going to do is, I've got a remodeling box. I didn't bring it out here, but I'm going to put a residential, I call them remodeling boxes, in the back of the camper where this was. put a residential plug, torque the lugs down properly, get it all put back together, and it'll be happy, good to go. This is fine. I'll put the screws back in there, get that done. That's the customer's probably going to get out from underneath this thing, so he doesn't want to spend a ton of money on it. But that's what's going on. If you guys don't have a multimeter and you want to mess around with electricity, get one. This one will do AC or DC. I can go from 200 millivolts clear up to 600 volts. I can test continuity. There's all kinds of stuff. Like I said, I've had this for you. You can actually use this for it's an automotive meter, but I use it for just about everything. There's all kinds out there. If you want to get a cheap one, grab it on Amazon. If you want to start getting higher end, go to Fluke or something like that. But anyway, I hope that helps. If you don't know electricity, stay away from it. If you do, at least now you know a little bit about camping. That's all I've got for today. Later.